Hey you guys, welcome to class. Today we are learning how to solve for x, and instead of using algebra tiles, we're gonna use M&Ms. Yay! I decided to use the M&Ms because I thought it would make it more interesting and funner for you guys, and it would also allow you guys to have a little treat afterwards after you're done with all of your work. So the blue M&Ms are going to represent X. The yellow M&Ms are going to represent positive numbers, and the red M&Ms are going to represent negative numbers, okay? And first we're going to start out easy, so don't worry, we're going to start out with a simple equation, and then we'll move into multi-step equations, but it will be easy for you guys, and at the end of the lesson, like I said, after you're done with your worksheets, you guys can have your M&Ms as your little reward for paying attention and learning how to solve for X. So let's get started. The first problem we're going to work with is pretty simple and basic, okay? So first, I'm going to do it, like I said, with using the manipulatives, and then I'm also going to do it algebraically. So over here is where I'm going to be using the M&Ms, and I'm going to draw a line right here where the equal sign is, and this is important because I want to make sure that my M&Ms are on the correct side of the equal sign, okay? And then I'm just going to rewrite it over here because we're going to do it both ways, okay? So first, let's go ahead and get our M&Ms. So I have one X, one blue M&M, okay? Then I have three negatives. So I'm going to use three red ones because red is negative. And on the other side of the equal sign, I have five positives. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Now, looking back at the equation, we're trying to solve for X. So that means I've got to get X on one side of the equal sign by itself. In order to do this, I have to do something with this 3. And in order to get rid of the 3, okay, I have to do the opposite of what I have. So I have 3 negatives, so I'm going to add 3 positives in order to get rid of the 3, okay? So let's do that. 3 positives, add 3, okay? And what I do on one side of the equation, I must always do to the other side of the equation. If you don't, you're going to get a wrong answer every time. So this is a very vital step in order to get the right answer. So what I've done to this side, I've added 3. I've got to do to this side, I've got to add 3 over here as well. Woohoo! So now I have, and then I'm going to go ahead and write that I've added 3 over here, okay? So now I have 3 0 pairs, and they go away. It goes away. And I'm left with X equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. 5 plus 3 equals 8. Okay, now to check our work, we can go ahead and plug this 8 into the equation where X is. Okay, so I have, instead of X, I'm going to use 8 minus 3 equals 5, and 8 minus 3 is 5. So I know that I've done it correctly. Perfect. All right, let's do the next one. 5 plus X equals 12. I'm going to go ahead and make my chart, make sure that line is where the equal sign is. And I've got 5 positives. And I have 1x. And I have 12 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? So now I have it modeled. 5 plus x equals 12. All right. In order to solve for x, we've got to get x by itself on one side of the equation. In order to do this, I've got to get rid of this 5. So I have 5 positives. In order to get rid of those 5 positives, I can add 5 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? What I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other side of the equation, okay? So I need to add 5 negatives over here as well. Perfect. So now I have 5 zero pairs, and that cancels out completely. So I'm just going to mark it out. X equals, okay, and then I've got to make 0 pairs right here as well. Okay, and I am left with how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So x equals 7. Whoops. X equals 7. In order to check our work, plug the 7 into where the x is. And if 5 plus 7 equals 12, then we are good to go. Okay, the next problem is going to be a little bit different, but still easy to solve with our manipulatives. Okay, write the line where the equal sign is. I've got 2 x's this time, and I have 6 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? In order to get x by itself, we have to get rid of this 2. So this 2x means 2 times x. We've got to do the opposite of multiplication to get rid of the 2, which is division. So divide. Okay? And that 2 divided by 2 is 1x equals . So here to model it, I've got 2 x's, and I'm going to divide these 6 equally among the 2 x's. So this right here tells me that 1x equals 3, which we don't really need the 1. You can just write it as x equals 3. In order to check your work, plug the 3 in where the x is up here. And 2 times 3 equals 6. And so you know you've done it right. Perfect. Now let's do a multi-step equation. And again, write your line where that equal sign is. I've got 2 x's. I have 5 negatives. 5. And I have 3 positives. Okay, so we have it modeled. over here algebraically, we've got to get rid of the 5 as the first step. This is the easiest step here. That's why we're doing it first. And we need to get rid of the 5. So I have 5 negatives. So I would need to add 5 positives in order to get rid of those. And what I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other side of the equation. So we need to add 5 to this side as well. Perfect. And now that we have our 0 pairs, we can now get rid of this 5. So again, we've added 5 to each side. Those went away. Bring down your 2x equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 plus 3 equals 8. And now our chart represents this equation. Okay. In order to get x by itself, what do we do first? We do the opposite of multiplication. We divide. What I do to one side, I must do to the other side. Going to go ahead and separate those a little bit, and I'm going to disperse these evenly among the blues. Okay, so this tells me that x equals 4. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So to check our work, plug it into the equation where the x is. 2 times 4 is 8, minus 5 equals 3. You know you've done it right. Awesome. So now that we know how to solve equations, after you are done with your worksheets, you may enjoy your M&Ms. And awesome job.